So what is solar like in Europe? Because my understanding is that Europe is actually quite more advanced than we are here in the United States in terms of solar adoption.
But we don't really chase the money. We didn't care for quick money, make money quick, do as much work just to make money fast. We focused on building strong roots. I have customers from 7 years ago that are still referring me to this day because of the relationship we've built with them. So
the bad reviews and all the warranty service, when you do a cheap install, you're going to pay for it sooner or later. Because I'm telling you, the cheapest provider in the solar space is not the company you want to partner with for 25 years in keeping your system healthy. It's just not. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Solar Surge podcast. And today we have another special guest for you. Martyna Kowalczyk from Solartime USA is joining us. And Martina and her family have one of the most successful solar installation businesses in the Dallas, Texas area. So Martina, welcome onto the Solar Surge podcast, and thanks for joining us today.
thank you so much for inviting me. Hello, everybody.
So some of you may already know Martina from her activities on social media. She's known as Solar Girl Dallas on Instagram, I believe. And you're also very active on the Solartime YouTube channel as well, which is where I first saw you.
Yes. No, I've always been active on Instagram. I love the social media platform. You can reach and have so many connections there, but YouTube is my new thing. And I have to say that I got ambitious and motivated by you. But social media, definitely a great platform to be on. And YouTube just recently, last year, thanks to you, you motivated me really to do this because you really are good at your show. So thank you for that.
Well, thanks for the support and the encouragement. I'm really excited about what you're doing, though. And I'd like to talk more about YouTube and kind of what you're doing on YouTube, because I think the videos are great. I saw some of your top 5 comparisons and that sort of thing. But let's just, for those that don't know you, how did your family get started in the solar business? Because I understand you've been doing this for quite some time now.
Yeah, no, it's been ever since I was a kid. My dad had a solar company back home in Poland. He started it in 2008. And, I was still a kid and, he kept pumping solar mindset into my head. And then back in 2015, actually, I moved to the United States. And a year later, he came after me. He said, Martina, since you left the home country, now you have to continue my legacy of Solartime in America as well. So he brought it over here for me to, continue upon his legacy and build that business with him. So I've been loving it ever since I started.
That's great. So what is solar like in Europe? Because my understanding is that Europe is actually quite more advanced than we are here in the United States in terms of solar adoption. So what are some of the reasons that homeowners in Europe are choosing to go solar?
And you're absolutely right. They are a little bit forward. And also the mindset is totally different. So when my dad came here back in 2016, most of our marketing was about going green and helping the environment. And, we kind of hit the wall with all that marketing because especially in Texas, people really didn't care. I mean, I'm not going to lie, they don't. I'm not saying everybody, but it wasn't the right marketing strategy for Texas to pitch going green and, the eco-friendliness of solar panels. But Europe is a pioneer when it comes to solar. I mean, they've been doing solar water heating for years. Geothermal pumps are huge. Solar, if you go to Europe, it's almost on every other home. So we definitely have a bright future ahead of us, Joe. It's coming for us now, and this is what we can turn America into, that everybody can have that renewable energy available.
Yeah, no, it definitely seems to be going that way. I mean, what little I do know about the European energy market is that electric rates are higher in Europe on average than they are in the US, especially in Texas. Like you said, if you're trying to sell solar because you got to save on your electric bill in Texas, I mean, now it's starting to get bad, but when your family started in the solar business in Texas, there wasn't really a financial case to be made for it.
No, you're right. It was actually tough. I mean, the beginnings are always tough for any company, right? But we stuck around and we built our business on customer service and building relationships. We fell in love with how friendly Americans were to us, and we built relationships with people, and we kind of made it into like this. Not just a sale, it's like a process of building a relationship with the homeowner where, they call you a year later asking, hey, do you have any openings for a job? And, now they work for us. So we like the community for sure.
So I want to get back to the YouTube thing a little bit, because that's kind of like what brought us together, or how we kind of discovered each other, was on YouTube. And it does seem that you take a very similar approach that we do, which is like, hey, there's a lot of bad information out there. I want to make sure that my potential clients go into this process with their eyes wide open. So, how have you been able to use YouTube as an education tool, but also as a business development or a marketing tool? How does that work for you? What's your approach?
Sure. So we kind of started hoping that we would educate people, just like you said. A lot of the times, you don't have that much time with the homeowner. You can send them a quick video and, they retain more information, especially if you sell multiple products and you customize the system. But I was personally surprised with how well it started growing, the YouTube channel. So we've started having homeowners call us and try to buy a system from me directly, kind of like, with you. But I don't do that, right? I don't sell where I don't install, just because I really want to focus on building a small company. I always say with my dad, if we make enough money to go on vacation a few times a year, if we can pay people right, we don't need to be making millions, and we'll be happy. We just don't chase the dollar. So yeah, it definitely kind of, I started talking to people from New York, from California, from Montana. People would, reach out to me and just ask. And at first, obviously, you don't want to make money off of it yet. But, I was trying to see, hey, maybe I can design a system. I'm not going to sell it to you, but I'll, analyze your energy usage and I'll help you decide which quote would be best for you, right? So more of a consulting type of approach. But I'm still a baby, not like you, Joe, like in the whole YouTube sphere. So I'm definitely learning. My goal really is just to educate people. And it does help my business. I have people calling my office and saying, hey, I saw Martina on YouTube. I would like to get a quote from you guys. I'm in Dallas. And I'm like, okay, great, come on. So
yeah.
If that answers your question. Yeah.
No, it does. It does. And I totally understand too. There's this temptation. And we saw it when we started with YouTube too. We would have viewers come in from everywhere. So, one thought was, well, we should start selling solar to everybody everywhere, since they all see us on YouTube. And I was like, well, if we don't have an installer that's going to meet the same standards and values that we just were articulating earlier, there's really no reason for us to put our name next to theirs and get a homeowner engaged in a contract where we don't necessarily know if that installer is going to work. And so we focus on 3 main states. Now, we do offer our service in a total of 9 states currently where we have good installer relationships, but it's really 3 main states where 80% plus of our business takes place. Texas is one of them. California and Florida are the other top 3. And for us, I think it's similar. I would rather focus on a smaller geographic area, but where I know I'm going to have really good treatment and delivery from our installation partner, than try to just be everything for everybody. But Martina, I like a lot of what you're doing too, though, and particularly, making solar available and palatable for female consumers in this space. I know a lot of the terms, sometimes the terms might seem like they're intimidating or whatever. A lot of the equipment you were mentioning earlier, a lot of the equipment is not very pretty, to have on your wall. A lot of this bulky equipment. But can you explain a little bit, why is it important to you to make sure that solar is something that women can understand and access as well? Because I think you do a great job of that, probably better than anybody else out there. Yeah,
and I think a lot of men watching will agree that men tend to be the boss of the household, but the wives are the boss of the boss, My mom would always say that, the husband is the head, but the wife is the neck. The wife is the one that moves it around. Yeah. So, again, when we started back in 2016, people really didn't like the look of solar. Solar wasn't a pretty thing to have. A lot of the times wives would say, I don't want it on the front of my house. And that's a southern roof. Like, that's the best part. That's where you're going to get your money's worth. But, so I think the industry kind of got the feeling. I mean, we used to install polycrystalline panels. Now we're doing black on black panels on most roofs, right? So that was one appeal. Another thing that I really like that I'm seeing at this show at Enter Solar is that they're making those batteries look much prettier now. I mean, one thing, a lot of the time that I deal with homeowners, what they don't like is when we come to install and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so much stuff on the wall. I mean, and we have to explain better and better that backup, you're becoming your own utility company during a power outage, right? It's going to come with stuff. But I think the industry needs to be a little bit more aesthetic. We have to make things aesthetically pleasing. So there are some batteries that really do look good and, making them look good. But appealing to wives, it really is just, explaining to them the financial benefits of the whole thing, and not always talking to them about all the technicality of things. To them, what's most important is it saving me money? I mean, is it really making financial sense? Or should we put that money towards our kids' college fund? Like, explaining to them the financial aspect, I think, is a big part of the whole deal. Versus talking technicalities. I mean, I've gone to sales calls multiple times. I spoke with women, and most of the time we talk about money.
Yeah.
We know how to spend money well.
No, and that's a good point too. I can think of a few clients where the husband is so into the technology of it all, and we're kind of geeking out on the specs and everything, all that. But the wife was like, "Is this actually a good investment? With a little bit less emotion and more analysis."
Yeah, and a good sales representative knows how to what to tell you. Like, you ask the right question to figure out, is this person more of an engineer and they want all the details? You don't talk to a woman that did not even ask you about wattage of the panel, about specifications of the inverter. I mean, you're killing the deal if you do that. You're lost her.
Yep, I've seen that happen many times. And usually it's a younger, inexperienced sales professional that wants to let the homeowner know that, hey, he knows his stuff.
Yes.
But they didn't ask that question. They don't want to know about watts and kilowatt hours. What they asked was, what's my return on investment? Or
Absolutely.
Fill in the blank. Well, Martina, it's been great sitting here and chatting with you again. So Martina, you've got the YouTube channel. All right, you're active on Instagram as well. Is that right? Any other social platforms where you have a presence?
No, just, Facebook, but I always reserve Facebook for family and friends. But definitely go follow me on solargirl.dallas. I'd love to have you there. I'm super active. It's not just about solar. It's, just as a young business owner, business professional, going through life. YouTube, absolutely go check us out there, Solartime USA. We were a little bit lazy last year, I would say, with putting up videos, but definitely this year is going to be the year where we can, educate more and more and help the industry and help the consumers get what they want,
Yeah, and that's really what the industry needs. We don't need any more pushy salespeople. What we need is more good information, more education, and so that's why I'm so grateful for what you're doing. Just hope to see the content that you put out this year, and hopefully catch up with you at the next big
show.
solar conference.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you so much for having me. I enjoy your videos, and I can't wait to be part of of this and the bigger picture. We can change this industry. We can make it a really good industry and make money while we do that.
Absolutely. Well, folks, again, Martina here from Solartime and Solar Girl Dallas on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yep.